Picture two guys, same age, 35, same city, same salary, $150,000 a year. Call the first one Jordan. Jordan drives a 2023 BMW 5 Series he leases for $1,100 a month. He lives in a two-bedroom apartment in the nice part of downtown. He orders from Erewhon when he's too tired to cook, which is most nights. He has a Peloton he uses as a towel rack and an Apple Watch that counts his steps to the parking garage. He took a trip to Tulum last March and posted every second of it. Jordan is, by every visible metric, doing great. Now meet Marcus. Marcus drives a 2014 Toyota Camry with 89,000 miles on it and a small dent above the rear wheel well that he has zero intention of fixing. He lives in a decent apartment in a decent neighborhood. He makes coffee at home. His coworkers quietly feel a little sorry for him. Marcus has $400,000 invested, today, at 35. Jordan has $400 in checking, 3 days before payday, and his stomach does that quiet, tight thing every time his phone buzzes with a notification, because he is not totally sure what that charge is. Same salary, same age, same city. The gap between those two men is not talent. It is not discipline. It is not luck. It is a very specific set of rules that someone forgot to tell Jordan. My name is Hino, and I spend an embarrassing amount of time staring at Federal Reserve data and compound interest tables so you don't have to. If you've ever sat in a parking lot doing quiet mental math before going into work because you weren't sure if your direct deposit had cleared yet, subscribe and hit the like button, because today we are going to run the math on why $150,000 a year has somehow become the new broke and exactly what you do about it. Here's the thing I need you to understand before we touch a single number. Jordan is not stupid. Jordan is not irresponsible. Jordan is not at a casino at 2 a.m. or buying NFTs. Jordan is doing exactly what every ad, every bank, every car dealership, and every social media algorithm has been carefully, scientifically, and expensively engineered to make him do. He's living up to his income. And that is not a character flaw. That is a $500 billion industry working exactly as designed. Let me show you Jordan's actual budget, not the fantasy version, the real one. $150,000 salary. After federal income tax, state tax, Social Security, and Medicare, he takes home roughly $8,900 a month. That feels like a lot of money. Here is where it goes. Rent, $2,800. BMW lease plus full coverage insurance, $1,400. Student loan payment, because, of course, $650. Groceries and dining out, the oat milk, the guacamole, the birthday dinners he can't say no to, $900. Subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, the gym he goes to twice a month, the meal kit service he paused but forgot to cancel, the cloud storage, the news app, $280. Utilities, phone, gas, $420. Miscellaneous, the Amazon order, the wedding gift, the thing he needed for the apartment, $350. That is $6,800 in fixed and semi-fixed costs every single month. That leaves $2,100, which sounds fine until you factor in that Jordan has no emergency fund, so every unexpected cost, a car repair, a medical bill, a flight home, comes out of that $2,100 and overflows onto a credit card charging him 24% interest. His actual discretionary margin after real life happens? About $200 a month. You know what the average person making $60,000 a year has left over after their expenses? About $200 a month. The extraction economy scales perfectly with your income. The game does not change. The stakes just get higher. And according to a 2023 Federal Reserve survey, 37% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency from savings. That number barely moves when you filter for people earning over $100,000 a year. The income went up, the margin didn't.
Now I need to show you what Jordan's lifestyle actually costs. Not the monthly payment, the real price. The second price tag they never show you. Let's start with the BMW. $1,100 a month lease payment. On a $150K salary, that feels manageable. Reasonable even. But here is what the dealership will never put on the window sticker. If Jordan took that $1,100 plus the roughly $300 per month extra he pays in insurance versus a paid-off used car, and invested all of it into a boring S&P 500 index fund at the historical average annual return of 10%, over 30 years, that is $2.56 million. That BMW is not an $1,100 a month car. That BMW is a $2.56 million decision. That is the second price tag. Now let's talk about the subscription stack. Jordan's $280 a month in subscriptions. He barely registers it because no single charge is over $15. That is the entire point. The pricing psychology behind subscription models is designed specifically so your brain never identifies it as a threat. $280 a month invested over 30 years at 10%, that is $651,000. His forgotten subscriptions are costing Jordan more than most people's retirements. Now, here's where I want you to feel this differently. Let me translate these numbers out of dollars and into something more honest. Hours of your life. Jordan earns roughly $72 an hour after tax. His $1,400 monthly car payment and insurance, that is 19.4 hours of his actual life every single month, just to sit in a car. His subscription stack, that is almost 4 hours of his life per month going to services he barely uses. The Dalbar study, and this one never stops being brutal, shows that the average equity fund investor earns around 3.6% annually, even when the market returns 10%, because people make emotional decisions. They buy high, panic, sell low, and then wait too long to get back in. Marcus does not do that. Marcus set up an automatic transfer the day he gets paid and has not looked at his investment account since the second quarter of last year. That is not impressive. That is the whole strategy. So why does Jordan keep making these decisions? Because he is irrational? Because he lacks willpower? No, because he is human. And there is an entire industry that has spent decades studying human psychology specifically to exploit the parts of your brain that were never designed for a modern financial environment. Let me show you how 3 specific machines work. The car dealership machine. The average new car payment in the United States right now is $748 a month, according to Edmunds. The average loan term has stretched to 69 months, almost 6 years. The dealership does not stretch the loan because they're generous. They stretch it because the moment you focus on the monthly payment instead of the total cost, they own you. A $45,000 car on a 72-month loan at 7% interest doesn't cost $45,000, it costs $54,000. And the moment you drive it off the lot, it is worth $38,000. You are paying a premium to look like you can afford something you can't actually afford. The credit card minimum payment machine. If Jordan carries a $9,000 balance, which is just above the U.S. average, at 24% APR and makes only the minimum payment, he will be paying that debt for over 17 years and will pay more than $12,000 in interest alone. The minimum payment is not a repayment plan. It is a subscription to your own debt. It is engineered to keep you in the system as long as possible, paying maximum interest, feeling like you are making progress because the number goes down $11 a month. The lifestyle creep machine. Jordan got a $15,000 raise 2 years ago. He felt incredible for about 6 weeks. Then he moved to a slightly nicer apartment, just $300 more a month, totally reasonable. He upgraded his car. He started saying yes to more dinners out because he could. Behavioral economists call this hedonic adaptation. Your brain is wired to return to a baseline emotional state no matter what happens to you. The raise felt amazing. Then it became normal. Then the new costs became normal, and his actual net worth did not move. Thomas Stanley spent decades researching American millionaires for The Millionaire Next Door. His finding was not that millionaires earned more. His finding was that millionaires consistently refused to let their spending grow with their income. The boring truth is the only truth.
All right, here is the part where I tell you to do something hard. Except I'm not going to, because hard doesn't work. Willpower is a failed financial strategy. What works is infrastructure. What works is making the right thing happen automatically before your brain gets a vote. Here are 5 things. They are deeply boring. They work. Step 1. Automate 75% of every future raise before you ever see it. This is the anti-lifestyle creep protocol, and it is the single most powerful thing in this video. The moment you get a raise, before you adjust to the new number, you log into your payroll system or your bank and you redirect 75% of the net increase directly into your investment account, automatically. You keep the other 25%. You are allowed to enjoy a raise, but you never give your brain the chance to spend the 75% first. Marcus did this. Every single raise for 10 years. That is a significant portion of how he has $400,000 at 35. He did not earn more than Jordan. He just never let the machine get to the money first. Step 2. Install the 72-hour firewall. For any non-essential purchase over $50, you wait 72 hours. You put it in a note on your phone. You sleep on it 3 times. Research consistently shows that a significant majority of impulse purchases feel unnecessary after 72 hours. The urge is not gone. You just gave your prefrontal cortex enough time to show up to the meeting. Step 3. Do the subscription audit. Today, open your last 2 bank statements. Highlight every recurring charge. Then ask one question for each one. Did I actively use this in the last 30 days? If the answer is no, cancel it right now before you finish this video. Do not pause it. Cancel it. The reason subscriptions are priced at $9.99 and not $120 a year is because $9.99 does not register as a threat. They are counting on your inertia. Cancel the ones you don't use. Step 4. Aggressively attack your highest interest debt first. If you are carrying a balance at 20% APR or higher, there is no investment in the world that reliably beats that guaranteed return. Paying off a 24% credit card balance is a guaranteed 24% return on every dollar you put toward it. Pay minimums on everything else and throw every available dollar at the highest rate first. This is not glamorous. This is arithmetic. Step 5. Buy a boring index fund and do not look at it. A low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab. The specific one matters far less than the act of starting. Set up the automatic contribution. Then close the app. The Dalbar study does not show that the market is broken. It shows that investors are their own worst enemy. The people who beat average investors are not smarter. They are just less reactive. Marcus checks his account once a year. That is his entire strategy. Let me close the loop on Jordan and Marcus. In 5 years, if nothing changes, Jordan will be 40 years old, still doing the parking lot math, still with a car payment, still one $4,000 emergency away from a very bad month. He will probably get a few more raises. The machine will absorb every single one. Marcus will be 40 with somewhere between $600,000 and $700,000 invested, depending on the market. He will not be rich by Instagram standards. He will not have a yacht. He will not have a vacation home. But here is what Marcus will have. Marcus will be able to walk into a meeting with a bad boss and feel nothing. Not because he is brave, because he has a 6-month cash cushion and a brokerage account that means this job is a choice and not a requirement. Marcus can say no. Marcus can take a month off between jobs without a panic attack. Marcus can absorb a transmission going out on his Camry without putting it on a credit card.
Marcus bought options. Marcus bought the ability to sleep at night without doing math in the dark. That is what this is actually about. Not the yacht, not the ski chalet, not the Instagram grid. The ability to say no. The ability to absorb a shock. The freedom horizon. The point at which your money works hard enough that your time becomes genuinely yours again. Jordan is not a bad person. Jordan is a normal person playing a rigged game that nobody sat down and explained to him. You just got the explanation. So here is what I want you to do. Not 5 things, 1 thing. Pick one thing from today's video, just one, and do it before you go to sleep tonight. Set up the automatic transfer. Cancel 2 subscriptions. Start the 72-hour note on your phone. One thing. Because the cruelest part of compound interest is not that it punishes you, it is that it rewards consistency so quietly and so slowly that most people quit before they ever see it work. Marcus didn't quit. If this video changed how you think about money, subscribe. It is free and it is the one subscription I promise is worth keeping. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, a dime is a dime.